Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Rock Fabulous 40s, and today I'm doing something a bit different that I haven't done in a minute on my channel, a long minute. I am going to do a dupes video for you guys. I have 10 products here that I feel are dupeable, and we're going to get right into it. Okay, so what dupes are? Dupes are when you find a really nice high-end or luxury in some cases, products that you love, but then you find a more affordable counterpart, as in it pretty much matches identical or almost identical to the higher end version. And in some instances, I actually like the more affordable version better. So I have both on my face right now. So I have one side that is the affordable side or the dupe side, and I have one side that is more of the high-end side. So I wonder if you guys can tell the difference between side to side here. I know I can't tell a difference when I'm looking in the mirror. I don't know if you guys can or not, but I'll give you a minute. So if you picked the left side, this side right here, it might be right to you, but on my left, right here, this is the higher end side, this is the drugstore side. Like I said, I don't know if you could tell. I can't tell. But let's start off with primers. So the high-end primer that I'm wearing on this side is the Becca Backlight priming filter. I am almost out, as you guys can see. I am literally having to unscrew the lid and get it out that way because it's so little, there's so little left I can't even use the pump anymore. But I have this on this side of my face, and this does give me a beautiful glow to my skin without making the pores really stand out. And I really love how this kind of makes my makeup cling onto my face nicely. And I really adore this product. And then the dupe to that, and I'm sure you guys have probably seen this online somewhere before as being a dupe, but it is the Physicians Formula Spotlight Illuminating Primer, this guy right here. I have it on this side of my face. And this one is just as illuminating. It doesn't make the pores actually stand out. However, I do feel that this one, even though they look identical on the skin, this one is a little bit thicker, and I don't know, the smell is a little different. Like this one, I like how this one smells. It smells fresh. This one to me just kind of, it's got kind of a, I don't know how to describe it. It's not a horrible smell, but it's not a great smell. It's not a strong smell at all. It's just not a great refreshing smell like the Becca one does. So even though I get the same exact effect on the skin, I actually do like the Becca a little bit better because of the smell, and it's just a little bit thinner than the Physicians Formula. But they dupe each other in a pinch. So if you don't want to fork out the $39 for the Becca, then you could easily go with the $15 for the Physicians Formula and get the same result. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about for dupes is setting sprays. And I've got my Urban Decay All-Nighter right here. This is like the last one in the old bottle that I have. I bought a whole bunch of these up at Nordstrom Rack because the Urban Decay came out with the new packaging. So I bought up all the ones I could find at Nordstrom Rack on sale. So this is the last one of it that I have. This is just the trial size, but the full size version of this I think is like $32. I have it written down. Hold on. $34. The full size of this is $34. I love this. I have been using the All-Nighter probably for about 6 or 7 years. I mean, I absolutely love it. It makes my makeup stay in place. The spray is beautiful. Good stuff. But the dupe to this is the Milani Make It Last. And as you guys can tell, I am just about out of this bugger right here. The Milani Make It Last is $10, and because it's drugstore, you can find it on sale. And I will be rebuying this one again because I absolutely love it. And to me, this stands up to the All-Nighter. So this makes my makeup last just as long as this does. The spray is pretty much identical in my opinion, and I actually love the smell of this guy. This guy, I mean, it's kind of scentless, this guy is, but this guy's got kind of a refreshing smell, and the spray, I just love it. It smells so good. but the staying power of the makeup works just as well between the two. So if you don't want to spend the $34 for this, you can spend $10 on this. So I'm probably not going to repurchase the all-nighter because this does just as well. Okay, so now let's talk brows. So for my eyebrows, I had been using the Anastacio Brow Wiz, this guy right here, and the one that I use is just in the shade dark brown. The Anastacio has got a very small pencil on one side here and a spoolie on the other. Now I have had about 3 of these where the spoolie has actually broken off the tip. This one hasn't done it yet, but I don't know. Have you guys ever had the spoolies break off? Mine always do, so I'm just waiting for this one. However, this one, like I said, is in dark brown, and it's this guy right here. The formula is creamy, but not so creamy that, my dog is shaking, that it makes your brows look smudgy, okay? The dupe to this is the NYX Micro Brow, and the one that I have is in Espresso, this one right here. And it also has a spoolie on one end and the micro thin pencil on the other. And it is this one right here. Now I do feel the NYX one is a little more brown than the Anastacio, but that's probably my own fault because I have dark brows, so I can use a dark brown or an almost black and get away with either. However, the thing that's kind of interesting though about the micro brow is if you look at the lids, one lid is shorter than the other. Can you guys see? You have to make sure that you put the longer lid on the pencil side and the shorter lid on the spoolie side, because if you're not paying attention and you get them mixed up and you put the shorter lid on the pencil side and you haven't rolled your pencil back down, you're going to break the tip of your pencil off. So you do have to be a little more mindful with this. However, the Anastacio one is $21 and the NYX one was $12, I believe. 10. The NYX one was 10. So I'm probably not going to buy the Anastacio one again because of the spoolie that keeps breaking off. The NYX one is just as good. My spoolies stay intact. The only thing I need to be mindful of is the cap sizes on each end. And I'm saving $11 by going with the NYX. Okay, next, let's talk some highlighters. I've got quite a few highlighters here. So the first one I want to talk about is what I'm wearing on my skin today. On this side of my face, I have the MAC Mineralized Skinfinish in Soft and Gentle. This guy right here. Love this. I've had it forever. It is a nice, beautiful, natural highlight. And it's kind of a peachy champagne, I guess you would call it. Okay, this is what it looks like here. And let me swatch. Did I just say squatch? I did. I meant swatch. Okay, so this is it here. Okay, so it is a very, don't mind my fingers, guys. I need to get my nails done. So this is a very, very beautiful highlight on the skin. And like I said, I do have this on the left side of my face. Now, this is $35 for this. It's available, of course, at Ulta and MAC and the stores that sell MAC, but this is $35 for this guy. The dupe I found for it is the Essence Pure Nude. This guy right here, and this is in just Be My Highlight is the name of the shade. And this I find to be almost an identical dupe to the MAC. Okay, so these are almost identical to each other. So the Essence, the Pure Nude is, like I said, just almost identical to the MAC. So this is the Essence here, and this is the MAC. They look identical on the skin. They're both kind of a peachy champagne color. So I actually find that I myself like the Essence a little bit better. I feel that the texture is a little smoother. I feel it's a little more natural looking on the skin, and it doesn't accentuate any of my lines or pores, whereas I feel the MAC is just a little more of a harder formula, a little more of a rougher formula, if that makes sense. And it does a little bit accentuate some of the pores and the texture in my skin. Not bad, but a little bit. So I feel that the Essence Pure Nude is a little more natural looking. So if you guys are in the realm of saving or wanting to save about $30, I would go with the Essence and over the MAC. But that's, again, that's my opinion. But I really do like the Essence. So I'm probably, I mean, I'm probably never going to run out of this, but if I was to ever run out of it, I'd probably just keep using the Essence and not repurchase the MAC as much as I love them. Alright, we are still on highlighters here. I guess about 6 months ago, I got the Laura Geller Peach Glow. This is the Baked Gelato Swirl in Peach Glow. And let me pop this guy open here. And I love these Baked Gelato Swirls. Now, these are $26 for these guys. Look how little it is for $26. How much is in here? 0.16 ounces of product is in here. So, but I do love it, and it is beautiful on the skin. Let me do a swatch here for you. Okay, this is it here. Okay, so this is the Laura Geller Peached Glow, and its dupe, okay, again, $26. Its dupe is the $4.99, it might be $3.99, Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighting Powder in the shade Bloom Time. Okay, beautiful, beautiful highlight. I've been a fan of the Mega Glow highlighters for a while because they are just very, very richly pigmented and very shiny. They can be built up to be very, very shiny. This one is soft, smooth textured, and does look absolutely identical to the Laura Geller. Let me show them to you side by side here. Okay, I mean, they are literally identical matches. Let's swatch this guy. Okay, so this one is the Laura Geller, and this one is the Wet n Wild. I love them both equally. I feel they perform exactly the same on the skin, absolutely no difference whatsoever, other than the price point. So, like I said, the Laura Geller is $26, the Wet n Wild is what, $3.99, $4.99, so, I mean, you're saving almost $20 here. Okay, so, as much as I love both of these products, if I was to run out of the Laura Geller, I would get the Wet n Wild, because to me it's exactly the same. I just absolutely love them. So, I don't know. I think this one is probably one of my best finds right here. Alright, last highlighter. Well, kind of sort of last highlighter. My all-time favorite highlighter in the entire universe. And I don't know if I've ever said this to you guys or not. I might have. I don't remember. But my all-time favorite highlighter in the entire universe is this Stila Heaven's Hue highlighter in Kitten. And this is one of those putty highlighters. Excuse me. So this is one of those putty highlighters. It's kind of a champagne-y peach color, and you can push on it and it squishes. Let me do a swatch here for you. It is very smooth. It is very, it makes the skin look highlighted but not powdery. Do you guys see that? Look how beautiful that is. Highlighted but not powdery. It doesn't accentuate anything anywhere. It doesn't accentuate. This has been my all-time favorite highlight for probably a couple of years now since it came out, and I absolutely adore it. Anytime I have a special occasion that I want to look my best, this is the one that I reach for. But I did find a dupe. The dupe that I have, and I didn't even realize this was a dupe probably until about 6, maybe 8 months ago, because I've used this for a really, really long time too and have really enjoyed it and really loved it, but never realized it was a dupe. But now I know why I really enjoyed it and really loved it. Alright, so this is the ColourPop Super Shock Cheek in Smoke and Whistles. Now, if you guys have watched my channel from, God, years ago, you've seen me use this. And it wasn't until just recently I realized it was a dupe. I mean, really? So this is also that putty type texture, so it's very bouncy when you push it. It's exactly the same as the Stila. Okay, so on the skin, on your cheeks, these are identical. They both look like just a beautiful highlight on the skin. They don't in any way, shape, or form look like you have a streak of makeup on the tops of your cheekbones. They blend out beautifully, and they just look like you're glowing from within. Difference being, though, the Super Shock one, if you guys are into that big glam type of highlight, this Super Shock can be built up. Let me show you guys something. The Heaven's Hue is kind of, it looks very, very natural on the skin when blended out. But this Super Shock can go from very, very natural to very, very glammy. You guys see that? So it's a beautiful, beautiful highlight. And I reach for this all the time. And I never, like I said, I never realized it was such a dupe. Now the Stila one goes for $32 where the ColourPop one goes for $8. So I feel that these are very, very, very interchangeable with themselves. I feel the Stila maybe is a little bit more soft. But once you get these blended out on the skin, they're both just beautiful and both just identical looking. I love them both. Love them both equally. Alright, then I have one that's kind of a highlighter, kind of not a highlighter. These can be actually mixed into foundations. They can be worn on top of the cheekbones or on the high points of the face. And this one has quickly become a favorite of mine, and this is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, this guy right here. This one comes in different shades. It came in several different shades. I got shade number 3, which is the light medium, this one right here. And it comes with a doe foot applicator. Let me go ahead and do a swatch of this guy. This one's going to be a little harder to see, this comparison. But this stuff, when you put it across the top of your cheekbones and you use it as a highlighter, it's almost undetectable, except for the fact that you just have this glow coming off of your skin that just looks beautiful. Okay, so that's it right there. You guys can kind of see it there. I'm trying to, this little area. The Charlotte Tilbury is $44. Now the dupe I found for that is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Glotion in the shade 902. The 902 pretty much matches my shade medium in the Charlotte Tilbury. Now I do find the Glotion to be a little bit glowier. Hold on, let me get a little bit of that on the skin. And you don't need much of it. You just kind of... Okay, so I've got that one up here on the top here, and the Charlotte Tilbury right here. Okay, I do find the Glotion, the L'Oreal, to be a little glowier, I guess. It looks a little bit more like you strategically placed a little bit of makeup on your skin, where the Charlotte Tilbury really doesn't. The Charlotte Tilbury is just very undetectable. However, the Charlotte Tilbury, again, is $44, whereas the L'Oreal was $10. So the price difference is huge. So if you guys have always had your eye on the Hollywood Flawless Filter from Charlotte Tilbury, you might check out the L'Oreal Lumi Glotion line, because I think that comes in like 2 or 3 different shades as well. And I just really, really find them comparable. Now granted, I myself do like the Charlotte a little better on my skin, I'm not going to lie, but in a pinch, they do dupe each other very, very well if you want to save that money and not really go with the $44, you know, price tag here. Okay guys, sorry if the lighting's a little different. My memory card filled up, so I had to switch out memory cards really quick. But we just finished up with the Charlotte Tilbury and the L'Oreal Lumi Glotion. Okay, so next in line we are going to talk blushes. And one of my favorite blushes of all time is the Laura Geller Baked Blush in Pink Grapefruit. This guy right here. I love this. Oops, mirror. Love this. It's kind of a peachy, rosy tone with some glow. You can see it's got some pink in there, and I just absolutely love this blush. The Laura Geller blushes are some of my favorite blush formulas ever. I just absolutely love them. Okay, this is it swatched on my hand. You can see the glow. You can see the pinky, rosy, peachy tone there. Maybe a little hint of mauve in there. So the Laura Geller one is $18. The dupe I found for it, and I think this is a new blush for this line because I've never seen it before, but this is the Wet n Wild Color Icon blush in Blazing Berry. This guy right here. It's very hard to say Blazing Berry. Blazing Berry. Try to say that 5 times fast. I bet you say Blazing Blairy because I had to practice it a couple of times. Anyway, so this is the Blazing Berry from Wet n Wild. And it is also a mauve rosy peachy tone. I know that's a lot of colors mixed in one, with a glow to it. So let me swatch this guy. Okay, you guys see those? I mean, those are pretty much identical. So the Laura Geller is $18 and the Wet n Wild is $3.99. And look at that. They're beautiful, right? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. The only difference between the way that these two blushes look is with the Wet n Wild one, you have to be a little easy-handed, because if you just slap your brush in there and pop it on your cheeks, it's going to be bright. It's going to be really bright. It is very, very, very pigmented. The Laura Geller one is also pigmented, but not near as pigmented as the Wet n Wild one. So they are in shade and in finish identical. They are both just beautiful on the skin. Just one is so much less expensive. I mean, seriously, $3.99 versus $18 for this guy. So these are just absolutely beautiful, beautiful blushes. I do like the formula a little bit better of the Laura Geller because I don't have to be so easy-handed with it. But like I said, as far as color goes, as far as the way it looks on the skin, it's identical. So both of these are really, really nice products. Okay, moving on to eyeshadow palette. An eyeshadow palette. So I'm wearing two different eyeshadow palettes on my eyes today. I'm wearing the more expensive brand on the left and the more affordable brand on the right. And I am talking about the expensive side first, which is the Anastacio Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette. This guy right here. Love this guy. Love, 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 love this guy. So the Anastacio palette has got 14 shades. Okay. Right here, beautiful, beautiful shades. There is some fallout that kicks up. When I use this, I like to actually do my eyeshadow first. I didn't today because I was trying to dupe it with my other palette. So on this eye, I have the shades Burnt Orange in the crease. I have Mulberry in the outer corner and the crease. I have Rose Pink on the lid. And I have this glistening on the inner corner. Okay. I also put Tempera, this one right here, is that what it's called? Tempera? Tempera. Tempera? I also have Tempera, or Tempera, whatever you want to call it, this one right here, which is kind of a creamy white matte. I have that on the brow bone on both sides because the other palette didn't have that shade. So the palette that I'm talking about that pretty much dupes this palette, by the way, the Anastacio palette is $42, but you're getting that great texture, you're getting that great blendability, you're getting that great color payoff that your Anastasia shadows normally give you. Its affordable dupe is $4.99, and it's from Wet n Wild, and this is the My Glamour Squad palette. This guy right here. Quit focusing on my face and focus on the palette. This guy right here. Okay, this is only 10 shades. So the Anastasia's got 4 more shades. Okay, I get it. But look at this. Okay, do you guys see, let me turn it this way. Do you guys see the similarities here? And not just similarities, but actual dupes. I mean, look at my eyes. Can you tell a difference? Okay, this side is Anastasia over here. This side is Wet n Wild over here. So the Wet n Wild side, I used the transition shade right here, which is a dupe for the Burnt Orange shade. Let me go ahead and swatch those two for you side by side. It's going to be kind of hard to see them because they are kind of light. Okay, so we've got Wet n Wild, we've got Anastasia. Okay, then I've got the reddish bricky shade right here that I put in my outer corner and up into my crease a little bit, which is the dupe for Mulberry. Let me go ahead and swatch that one. Okay, so the Wet n Wild again is on top, and the Anastasia is down below here. Okay, then all over my lid, I've got this guy right here, which is all over my lid, and that is the dupe for Rose Pink. So let me go ahead and swatch those. So I'm getting swatches all over my clothes here. Okay, so again, on top is the Wet n Wild, bottom is Anastasia. Okay. And then my inner corners, I used this shade right here, which is the dupe for Glistening in the Anastasia, this one right here. So let me go ahead and swatch those. Okay, so the top one is the Wet n Wild, the bottom one is Glistening. The Wet n Wild one is just a tad bit brighter than the Anastasia one. Okay, just a tad, But once on the eyes, I mean, you guys can tell, I mean, you don't really notice a difference, right? If you look at my inner corners. Okay, so Wet n Wild and then Glistening from Anastasia. Okay, and I'm going to swatch a couple of the dupes that are in here that I don't have on my eyes right now. So we have Bronze right here. This is the Wet n Wild, and this is the Anastasia. Sultry, Wet n Wild, Anastasia. Okay, then we've got Wet n Wild up here, and then Cypress Umber from Anastasia. You can see the Cypress Umber is just a little bit more deep dark brown than the Wet n Wild one is. And then we've got Wet n Wild and then Sienna from Anastasia. And you can see that the Wet n Wild is just a little bit more red than the Sienna. And then the other two shades that look like they dupe each other is Noir and the Black. Okay, these two right here. So the top is Wet n Wild, the bottom Anastasia. Okay, so what I found with these palettes, and I really do just simply enjoy the Anastasia formula. I have several of these palettes from Anastasia and I love them. But what I found was with the Wet n Wild, there was some of the shades that I liked a little bit better than the Anastasia ones. I found that some of the mattes blended a little better. Now granted, these are hella pigmented, so it didn't take much to get the color placement on my lid. And these did have to be built up just a hair bit more, but I found them a little easier to blend than some of these. And I got no fallout with this. I did get fallout with this. So, I'm really, you have the addition of 4 extra shades, like Tempera here is not in the Wet n Wild palette. Also, Orange Soda, this one here, is not in the Wet n Wild palette. The Dusty Rose is not in the Wet n Wild palette. And the, what's the other one not in there? Oh, and Fairy, right here. Fairy's kind of that goldish shade that's not in the Wet n Wild palette. So, I mean, everything else is pretty spot on with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 shades. Like Sienna was just a tiny, tiny bit different, and Cypress Umber was just a tiny, tiny bit different. But, like I said, I felt that the mattes in the Wet n Wild, some of them blended a little bit better. Like, for example, this transition shade right here on my eyes today blended a little bit better than the Burnt Orange did. And I think that's because the Burnt Orange placed down so much color at one time, even if I tap my brush off, that it took me a lot of blending, a lot of blending, a lot of blending, a lot of blending, a lot of blending before I got it to the point that I really liked it. Whereas the Wet n Wild one, it placed down color not quite as pigmented, so I was easy to blend. It was very easy to blend and then build upon it and blend and then build upon it and blend. So I would get the same color payoff as the Anastasia. It just took me a little longer to do it. So, you know, if you guys love the Anastasia formula, I mean, this Soft Glam palette's freaking amazing. If you guys are just kind of like, you know, the formula doesn't really matter much to me, I'm more into the shades, then check out the Wet n Wild. I mean, seriously, guys, the Wet n Wild. I mean, really, $4.99 versus $42. And you can't really go wrong there. And I kind of thought that these were going to be a dupe, but I had to, you know, to try them out on both eyes before I could tell you for sure. So I think this was an actual great dupe find here. Actually, no, it does go this way. Oh, wow. Yeah, I think this is actually a great dupe find right here. Okay, so my last dupe for the day is lips. And I have this Nars Audacious Lipstick in Anna. And I love the Nars packaging. Magnetic closure. That is just so freaking satisfying. Love it. And this, like I said, is in the shade Anna. This is $34. And Anna is kind of a mauve-y with a little bit of a purple undertone, I guess. And it is a beautiful shade. This is a cream lipstick. Now, it's dupe. I found at Walmart. It's dupe, is $7.99. It's from Flower Beauty, this little guy right here, and this is in the shade Autumn Rose. Now I am wearing Anna on this side, I'm wearing Autumn Rose on this side. Don't know if you guys can actually tell that much of a difference or not. There is a little bit of difference in formula, but color-wise, I mean, it's spot on color-wise. So in formula, the difference is that the Flower Beauty is a matte, whereas the Nars is a cream. So there is a little bit of difference in the formula in that manner. Okay, so that's how come it just looks a tiny, tiny bit different. Let me spread the cream out a little bit and see if that makes. Okay, so do you guys see when you spread it out a little bit, it's exactly the same, just this one's matte, this one's cream. Okay, so exact same color, but just a little bit of a different formula. So if you love the color of Anna, which is $34, but you prefer a matte lip, go with the Flower Beauty for $7.99. If the formula doesn't bother you one way or another and you're just after the color, these are just 100% color dupe to each other. So I absolutely love these. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it. Those are my 10 dupes. I know this is probably kind of a lengthy video, but I wanted to get them out there. But yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys take some time to think about maybe some things that you have found that have duped each other. If you have found some wonderful dupes out there and you'd like to share, leave comments down below, because I'm sure everybody would love to hear about that. We love when we can save a little bit of money. It's awesome. So remember to share that. Also guys, if you enjoyed this video or you found it somewhat or anywhat informative, give it a big thumbs up. Also guys, underneath this video somewhere is a subscribe button. It's down, I never remember what side it's on, but it's down there somewhere. If you hit it, you too can rock your fabulous 40s, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.